welcome to Coffee and Courses. This is Melody, your host of the Course Consultant Show. I am so very excited to come back to you from my recent trip from Puerto Rico to talk all about how to grow your recurring revenue for your membership, group program, creative service agency model, so that you can take a vacation, right? Everybody loves vacations, and I want to be able to share with you some key things you need to know to get deep into the numbers. If you're brand new to me, my name is Melody. I am the owner and founder of The Course Consultant, and I help group coaching program founders and cohort-based program founders create powerful learning experiences through customer success. So today, I want to share with you the beginning of a 3-part workshop series. And inside the workshop series, say that 5 times fast, I am going to share with you exactly how you can plan out the changes for your upcoming quarter and year so that you can take that next leap into your business. Let's go ahead and take a look at the specific presentation I have for you. And if you're not already, join me. Go ahead and click on subscribe if you're here on YouTube, or press follow if you're following me here on LinkedIn. I've got a free workbook for you and a downloadable app. I'm super excited about this app. It's honestly one of my favorite things. So hang on to your britches. Let's go ahead and dive deep into the numbers. Let's go ahead and get started. Okie dokie, artichoke. I am here showing you all the bee's knees, and we're going to go ahead and get started presenting this. So let's talk about you. Today is day 1, part of that 3-week series. We're going to talk specifically about how to calculate the revenue, specifically from students who leave the program, who disenroll, or no longer want to be a part of your membership. Well, how do you exactly do that? And I'm going to show you some tools and resources that I use that are great to use. Secondly, we're going to identify some 3 important numbers in order to calculate the goals set for the upcoming quarter. Number 3, we're going to analyze how to come up with the MRR, or as this says, monthly recurring revenue. What do you already know? Well, obviously, if you're here, you may already be familiar with customer success. So woo woo, wish I had a little bit of a bell. If you already know about this, you know that students who stay in your program for your certification, your group program, your mastermind, your membership, or perhaps you're a creative business owner and you own an agency, so you already know people who stay with you, they get results, they have great testimonials so you can use to repurpose to share with your audience and tell them about your products and service. And those that implement, they actually see success. Well, how do we get them to stay? Well, if we take a look at this, we can actually break everything down. You've already done the hard part. You've talked to people, you've shared with people on social media, you've probably sent several emails about it. Well, if you've already done the hard work and getting someone in through the door and you're already supporting them through your programs and services, don't leave them hanging. Do not leave them hanging. So how do we do that? Here I show you a typical sales process or journey that you might have already been familiar with, but I want to show you some alternatives and elaborate on a way that you can support your students even more so that you can have even better success giving them the support they need to thrive. Well, you lose students and or potential people at each stage. So if you've already started this process, you know what I'm talking about. You've probably done a lot on your own or with your team, on your marketing department to get people through the first stage of visibility and growth. And you've gone through the process of giving people more information about your product or your service. And maybe you've had a couple of people come through and then you had a couple of people join you. But again, at every single stage of that process, people really fall off, right? We are very familiar, or you might be familiar with this concept, people coming through. But what happens after they join and you actually work with them? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is what I call a bow tie funnel. And I really love this concept because it's a beautiful way. I'm not just focusing on getting people on the front end, but really supporting them throughout their entire journey. And the bow tie funnel is especially very helpful if we're thinking about the process of obtaining new ideal customers so that we can bring them through, support them, nurture them, and give them the right information so that they can become successful and that you can support them throughout their journey with you as the business owner or as someone who is operating a department. So, bringing them through this process, giving people the ability to identify their interest level, maybe they've already joined you, and it's time to bring them through that following stage where you're giving people additional information. Here's how you book a call with me. Here's how you join me through this process. Here's how you adopt this program into your infrastructure and your processes internally. Here's how you advocate for getting more support. Here's how you tell other people about it, right? So it's this beautiful bow tie funnel, not just focusing on getting people in, but supporting people throughout. So, really love this. If you're like, what is going on with this funnel? I would really like a better way to see a comprehensive way to support people. Well, you can think of this in a cyclical fashion. For instance, you might think of somebody going through the cycle or the journey with you, however you want to call it. You're giving people more information about how they can get more additional support from you by giving them a journey and by providing them a post-purchase onboarding series. So, from the time that somebody joins, you want to give them that next step. For instance, if this is for a group program, a membership, or it's for a creative agency, what is the next step for somebody to provide more information to you and your team members so that we can move to the next stage? What are the stages of development and support that your customers and clients need in order to identify the value in what it is that you're offering, whether a service, a course, a membership, a program? From here, you're then going to move them through the following stages of helping them adopt your processes, the communication process, and perhaps even communicating some clear expectations. From there, hopefully, if it's a really good alignment and fit, they really love working with you. They absolutely tell all of their friends, and we've now successfully moved into brand advocacy. And again, large scale organizations probably have a loyalty following. For instance, if I'm going over to Starbucks, I probably have some sort of rewards points because I love coffee. Likewise, if you're going to a place like maybe another coffee shop or a retail establishment, you might also earn discount coupon codes or some sort of way to say, hey, thanks for stopping by. I really enjoyed you coming by. And because you're a member, I want to give you some extra perks and details. Pretty simple and straightforward. But as an online business owner or creative agency, you might be thinking of ways to help reinforce that support and identify with people how they can actually see their own growth in their goals that you have set out for them to achieve. In working with you, I want you to start identifying for yourself and or your business, how do you keep that person coming back? How do you keep that person for jiving with all of the cool things that you're doing for them so that they are able to see how they can grow and achieve that next goal? Well, let's first talk about calculating what the opportunity cost is if we don't actually review this information. So let's little talk about churn. So what is churn? Am I talking about churning butter? No, I'm not talking about churning butter, although I do love me some good butter. If you have recommendations on butter, please let me know. So churn is basically the rate at which you lose customers. Essentially, the higher the churn rate, the lower the actual amount is that contributes to the annual recurring revenue. The alternative or the flip side on that is the lower the churn rate, it means that it is better for your students, meaning the students are staying with you longer, your customers stay with you longer, the better that contributes to the overall annual recurring revenue. So that's referring to annual recurring revenue or ARR. I'm going to talk about more about this terminology so we have some clear understanding across the board about what these terms mean and how it applies to you in your business or your organization. So how do we actually calculate this number? Well, Here's a little recommendation for you. It's customers lost during the month over customers at the beginning of the month. So, for instance, we can calculate this at a specific set period of time. And I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that there were 1,000 customers, and the beginning of the month, that's what we started with. The customers that were lost during the month, that's 50 people. So that calculates to roughly 0.05% or 5%. That's a 5% churn rate, which is pretty decent. Not too bad, not too shabby. Well, how do we actually take that number and make that goal a metric in which we can set for ourselves, our department, our team, or our organization? Let's go ahead and show you how. And as a reminder, I do have a workbook that goes with this specific training. You can access that by joining me at www.thecourseconsultant.com/customer success community. And if you have questions about it and you'd like to get access to it, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll share my email address in this training here at the end. So, who am I? As I mentioned, I'm the founder of the Course Consultant. I am absolutely obsessed with helping students see growth and get the great experience that you have as an instructor or leader in your organization, specifically when it comes to training, curriculum development, and customer success. Not only do I have a master's in instructional design, I've helped over 1,000 students inside my curriculum to help them grow using the strategies that I'm sharing with you today. So let's talk. This is actually the first thing that we're going to talk about. What is monthly recurring revenue? What is MRR? Well, some important numbers to know. This is the amount of the total income that you receive from your recurring subscribers, users, or clients. So for instance, if you have 3 retainer clients that pay you $2,000 a month, that is the total amount would be the number of clients times the total fee that they receive on a monthly, or that they pay to you on a monthly basis, and then you can calculate that total amount. Now, that might be easy to do if you have an agency and you maybe have between 5 to 10 clients. But as you grow, if you're a subscription-based business model like a membership, a subscription, maybe you have a product, or perhaps even you have a group program or a certification program or some sort of cohort-based learning, that number seems a little bit harder to calculate. You kind of need to bring your calculator out and decide, how do we determine how many students that we have at any given point? And how many of those students are continuing to pay the fee associated with that? So it's very important to learn how to calculate it. I'm going to show you some tools that will help you calculate this for yourself later on in this series. However, I want to share with you, what am I referring to when I'm talking about this specific information? So let's talk a little bit more about average revenue per account. This is referring to the average amount of revenue per user or per account. And this will be different based off of the actual price tag of your service or product and any associated other products and supplemental services or offers that you have in your business. So the average revenue per account is also really good to know. And the last item I want to share with you is actually the customer lifetime value, or what some people call LTV, lifetime value. The lifetime value is the average lifetime value, or dollar sign, associated with someone who has actually purchased a product. Now, there are a lot of different ways to calculate this, and there are different types of additional revenue that can be earned from that average product price tag. For instance, there's something called expansion revenue, which refers to additional supplemental or additional options for expansion off of the base package or price. And that's something entirely different. But I want to just share with you that's very important to start learning what these numbers are in your business. And regardless if you are working for a business yourself or you own a business and operate an organization, it's very important to take a look at these metrics so you can set new revenue goals for your quarter or your year. Here's some great tools for you to learn how to get access to calculating this information without having to be a numbers person. If numbers make you feel like you want to pull your hair out and you don't enjoy looking at a spreadsheet, I really recommend these two. The first option is the retention calculator, and I'm going to show you behind the scenes of how you can use this for your own group program or membership. And the second option is chartmogul.com. And this is a free tool that you can use to calculate your MRR. There's also some really cool things inside, including a dashboard, which allows you to see the cohort analysis, which is essentially giving you some really good data on what's happening with people on a month-to-month basis. Where are people falling out? How am I losing people? What is the churn rate that I'm actually seeing across the board? It does this by two ways: by importing some payment processors and data sources that are externally housed. For instance, if you have Stripe or receive payments through PayPal, you can actually import that data directly into that dashboard. It's so awesome. And I honestly really find this tool very, very helpful. And like I said, it's completely free. So let's go ahead and take a look at this retention calculator. I'm going to show you an example of how to use it. All right, so we're here on this website, and that's www.thecourseconsultant.com/retention calculator. And I actually really like using this. I made this as an example to help you start calculating important information. So let's imagine that the monthly amount of students that I have in my group program is 1,000. Now again, this is going to be different. You can enter in all this data yourself, and the information and data set and the information at the end will be different based off of what you put in. Let's say that, again, as an example, keeping in line with our previous example, 50 people canceled. They're no longer paying, they're on some sort of option, either on pause or they are actually fully canceled. Let's say that each account is worth 1,000. And let's set a goal for retention. By retention, I'm referring to keeping people inside of your program. What if instead of 5% for our current churn rate, our goal was to decrease that churn to 4%, meaning we would need 1% retention month over month. Okay, so once I input all this information, I can click enter or continue. I'm going to click continue, and here we go. So let's kind of break this down together. So again, that's a 5% churn rate. So if I look at the decimal, move it 2 places to the right, we've got 5%. That's the rate at which we're losing students. Here, 50,000 would be the amount of lost revenue. That is a lot. That's very significant if we're doing some math. That's month over. The amount is 1 month of recovered revenue from one person would be 1,000. So you see that? So it's $1,000. You keep one student, that's 1,000. And over the course of 1 year, meaning 12 months, that would be 12. Okay? So that's the annual recovered revenue. So if we look at the math here, it makes sense. Why would you prioritize creating this specific retention plan? Well, the math speaks for itself. You can earn and create a great experience by allowing you to support your customers in a way that they feel supported to stay with you. All right, so let's go back to this. All right, so the resources that I shared with you are thecourseconsultant.com/retention calculator, and the second one, chartmogul.com. Really helpful. And again, completely free. I do have a workbook for you. So here is how you complete these next steps. Head on over to Chartmogul, add your income sources, meaning your payment processors from Stripe or PayPal. And I am not taking this. This is completely from Chartmogul. This is not me at all, but I definitely recommend using the software. And what you're going to do is review your dashboard. Take a look at it, analyze your numbers, and then go put it inside of the workbook. I'm not going to look at it. This is private to you. Then I want you to complete day 1 homework. This is the assignment that I really recommend going through so that you can see what's actually happening. What are the numbers telling me so that I can make informed decisions for myself, my team, my organization, or the business itself. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Kim Possible, anyone? If you have questions about this specific training or you'd like access to the workbook, I would love for you to join me by heading on over and sending me a direct email. I actually read this. Please send me an email asking me questions about this training. hello@thecourseconsultant.com is the best way to reach me. Or you can send me a DM directly on Instagram about questions about the workbook or about today's training at The Course Consultant on Instagram. I would love to see you inside and tell you some great tips that you can use for yourself as you plan out this upcoming quarter, month, or year. Thank you again for watching today's video. I'm so excited that you joined me. If you have further questions for me, like I said, my DMs are open. I would love to hear from you what your thoughts are on this training. And again, if you'd like the workbook, send me an email. hello@thecourseconsultant.com. That's it for today. I can't wait for you to see this next training next Thursday live inside my community or by joining me on Friday for the replay. You can join me again by subscribing here on Instagram. Subscribing to me on YouTube and or following me on LinkedIn. I can't wait to see you inside my DMs and to hop inside to chat all about customer success strategies to grow your program or to support you in your endeavors with your internal team. Thanks again. See you later. Bye.